TRW, back with this La Reconquista, Middle Ages, 8th to the 15th centuries, from this great looking edition of ALEA, Spanish wargaming magazine. I'm at a bit of a crossroads with this game. I'm thinking that I will continue a bit more at least. But even if I change my mind and don't, I wanted to go over some early impressions of this design. First of all, obviously it's engaging me. It's holding my interest. But I want to say it in particular that I think it from my early impressions here, it does succeed in what it sets out to do. So it does present a medium simple system for fighting out a large number of battles, 30 in this case, from 30 battles from a time period stretching over 8 centuries, 8 centuries. All of these battles, again with a uniform system. I've already talked about how it would be great if this were a much more complex system. But that aside, I am pleased with what I'm seeing so far, especially with respect to what it sets out to do. Now, rules-wise, I definitely need to go on the record correcting some things. This is kind of interesting. Zones of control. I went right by Mintaka, zones of control. I went right over this rule. My eyes glazed over when I got to this paragraph, and my eyes glazed over because I thought, this is a simple game. Isn't this just another traditional? I see zones of control. I see 6 hexes. I think that's it, right? But no, it's only cavalry units and bale crossbowmen. So cavalry units and crossbow units have a zone of control. And that's where you must stop, which is what I've been doing, but I've been stopping when moving into one of the 6 hexes surrounding any enemy unit. No, it's only the cavalry and crossbowmen. So that makes a big difference. And that does make a big difference as far as how you play your tactics. Okay, and I definitely wanted to point that one out and clarify that. And I need to remember that. The other thing, these are things that I did not miss, but they just haven't come up yet. I don't think they've come up yet, but I talked about how all combat is resolved according to a 1 attack die roll, a 2 attack die roll, or a 3 attack die roll. And it's easy. There's a maximum positive modifier. You don't have negative modifiers ever. So if you get a negative net modifiers, it's just treated as 0. But the maximum is the same number of dice. So the maximum you can have on a 1 attack die attack is +1, +2 for 2 attack dice, +3 for 3 attack dice. Another thing I figured out is that even though all of these modifiers on paper, they look positive, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1, even though they look like that, that's you can have negative modifiers. And let me explain that in a minute, but I actually want to hit one thing first. Before I think I said that there were only die roll modifiers. I was glancing over some of the I was glancing over some, as a matter of fact, there's one right there. So I was glancing over some of the special rules for the battle. So each battle appears to have 1, 2, or maybe 3 special rules. Each battle. I haven't seen a battle yet that has no special rules. So I've seen battles that have, 2 special rules. Again, there's 3 special rules there. There's a battle. I've seen, here's a battle where there's only 1 special rule. So that's nice, and that gives a little, I really dislike the word flavor. It gives historical context, and it gives some historical setting and some historical qualities to the play. Okay, but I thought there were only die roll modifiers. Actually, the special rules, I see in the special rules that you can have adjustments to the number of dice. So this is +1 attack die. So I do want to correct that as well, because I said that. Now let's talk about the modifiers, because I didn't get this. I didn't get this at first. So the procedure with respect to these modifiers, some of these apply to the defender, and I was wondering why is there a reference to defender if in combat units are just attacking? The phasing player is attacking. So how can you have a +1 for the defender in melee? Well, it is +1 for the defender because the attacker adds up all of his positive modifiers, and the defender adds up all of his or her die roll modifiers, and you subtract the defender's modifiers from the attacker's modifiers. So that's how you can get, first of all, that's how you can get a negative modifier, which you just treat as 0. And that's how the defender is getting advantages. So really, the Zani meta units defending in a melee attack +1, it's really, you could also think of that as the attacker's, that's a -1 for the attacker also. You just as easily look at it that way. So here's +1 for the defender, that's really -1 for the attacker. It's still the attacker, it's still just the attacker is rolling for attacks for friendly units during the friendly melee phase or attack phase. Okay. One thing I like the banner mechanic, and by that I mean I'm referring to, so you can win if you eliminate all the enemy's units. That's kind of obvious. But you can also win by, it looks like, amassing 5 or more of these banner points or banner the values, 5 or more value in captured banner markers. That's what those are there. They're face down. I think that neither player knows what they are, and I think you're drawing randomly from that pool of 5. What I don't get is I guess I just don't understand why. I mean, there are only 5 markers, and again, if I remember correctly, I'm not going to look at them because I have them face down and I don't know which one's which. But if I remember correctly, 3 are valued at 1, 2 are valued at 2, and 1's valued at 3. I'm sorry, 3 are valued at 1, 1 is valued at 2, and 1 is valued at 3. That means that, let me see, make sure I got this right. That means, well, that means if one side gets 3 markers valued at 4, neither side's going to be able to win by banners. I don't know if that's what's intended or not. What I don't understand is why there isn't a set of 5 for one side and a set of 5 for the other side, and you draw from the other player's pool of banner markers. I don't understand why you're sharing the same pool of 5 when it could easily turn, I'm assuming that it could easily turn out that neither side's going to be able to get 5 or more points with banners, but I just don't know about that. I'm confident that, I'm not confident that it will resolve itself with more play, but I'm confident that that it may very well resolve itself with more play. So yes, more play is needed for that. Okay, so I think I can start with the turn now. I think I was also oh no, there's another big thing. Some of the wording in the rules led me to believe that there's melee combat, always voluntary, very bad English, don't look closely. Combat's always voluntary. Units combat individually. Some of the text here led me to believe that every unit attacks individually, and there's always one defender in one hex. But that's not correct. So now it looks like, upon review again, well, no, a unit can combat individually, or a unit can combat being supported by other units. See melee modifiers, probably referring to that one. But here, kind of like the banner mechanic, I don't know I'm going to play it as is and try to understand what's going on, but I don't understand why you would, again, you're never going to take losses in your attack. You're never going to take losses in your attack. It's only a question of causing results on the target, the enemy. So why would you ever be concerned about who exactly attacks? It's not like results can come back on your forces. And as well, I don't understand the mechanic of why you would choose. Okay. Looking at this and looking at this, +1 only for one of the attacking units. So use this example. You got 2 Christian cavalry units facing 1 Muslim cavalry unit. You attack. It sounds like you can choose to attack separately, individually, and you will. And okay, so I attack with this Adal unit, and I get the result, but I don't apply it. I get a result, I don't apply it. Then I attack separately with this Adal unit, I get a result, and then I apply them together as a combined result, so to speak. That is pretty clearly allowed. But then are they saying that I can also have, and these are the same units too, so I have 1 Adal unit attack and take a +1 just because 2 or more units are attacking the same unit? Did the designer design this so that that's the same? Now, maybe it is all the same. Well, if it is all the same, why give the false impression that you have a choice? There is the thing about, there are these caps for all these losses, right? A unit can only suffer 1 decimated result per impulse. Subsequently, they're treated as lesser, rally or retreat, okay? So that means that even if you get a decimated result from 1 unit and then a decimated result from another unit, well, first of all, it wouldn't apply here because the defender only has 1 step, but if the defender had 3 steps, you're not going to cause 2 steps. You're only going to cause 1 step, and the second step is going to be downgraded to a rally result, which, by the way, I want to point out the obvious. This sounds really funny, I don't think there's any war game I've ever seen before that has rally as a combat result. That may very well be a peculiar translation, but I take it for what it is. I think I understand what they mean there, and I have no issue with it, but it does sound funny. Let me see what the Spanish is. The Spanish is that word. Repligue, something like that. I wonder what another translation for that word is. Anyways, so you're not going to get the two decimated results anyways. So if you just attack with one unit and you go with a +1 die roll modifier, that's also pushing you. Is that the same? I don't know. I know I'm not interested in the running the numbers mechanics wise. I'm just wondering why the designer gives me the choice here. What the choice is even supposed to represent. Which at this point I guess I just have to play and see what's up with it. But basically there are two attacks which are 2 dice rolls, but you can't get double the. You can't cause more. Can't. 2 units in the best case are not going to cause twice the amount of damage that 1 unit can cause in the best case. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's intended, and I especially don't know what's intended because going into combat in your friendly phase, well, I should say so far it has absolutely no effect. Maybe I've missed that so far, and I'll have to try that some more. Okay, that was a big one as far as like, it's not that every unit attacks individually and or it's not that you have to attack. No, you're rolling individually, but your attacks can be combined. That's what it is. And I guess they're combined in either case. Yeah. Again, I'm just surprised that the designer didn't go one way or the other, and what the choice is supposed to represent.